Welcome back to Your Ag Empire, where we roll up our sleeves, dig in the dirt, and uncover the secret to success in the world of agriculture. I'm your host, Jonathan Harrelson, a Texas farmer and rancher, farm risk consultant, and commodity coach. New episodes drop on Wednesdays on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, and we'd be honored to have you as a subscriber. Today, we're joined by the incredible Amanda Nigg, a farm wife, a mother, an influencer, and a fitness coach, making waves in the ag industry. Amanda shares a candid journey with us, delving into the challenges of losing her home to a devastating house fire amid a national pandemic. She opens up about the impact on her mental health and, more importantly, how this adversity fueled her to build her business. Join us as Amanda unfolds the story of resilience, personal growth, and how she's helping others transform their lives to embrace a happier, healthier self. Get ready for an episode that goes beyond the fields into the heart of human strength and determination. This is Your Ag Empire, where stories cultivate inspiration. Joining us on Your Ag Empire is Amanda Nigg. Amanda, welcome to the show. Many of our Empire Ag listeners know you as Farm Fit Momma on TikTok, Instagram. Who are you outside of this handle?
I am a farm wife, a mother. I am an entrepreneur. I mean, I wear many hats. Cook. Let's not downplay cooking. Cooking is very important, especially in agriculture. Those farmers like to be fed.
You are the real deal. This is not a facade that we see.
No, that's one of the things I really wanted to, when I started my handle, Farm Fit Momma, I actually was Amanda Nigg on social media prior to starting my business. And I changed my handle in 2020 to Farm Fit Momma. And before that, I shared the insights of being a farm mom because I actually sold insurance. So I was so much in my career. I was a farm wife. I did not grow up in agriculture. That is something I totally married into and have learned so much. Like once you're part of ag, it's almost, and I don't want to say cult, but it's almost like you are because it's an industry you fall in love with, especially when you're outside of it and you become part of it. I can't explain it. Like, I mean, I've learned so much from agriculture. You and I were just talking about marketing and stuff. Like it's a business. A lot of people don't understand. It's not just getting crop in the ground and planting them and then watching it grow and then getting out. No, you're watching markets, you're trading. It's a whole incorporative, intertwined business that a lot of people don't fully understand. And especially someone that like me that didn't grow up in it and then became a part of it. It's a very eye-opening experience as itself because I didn't understand. I thought, oh, they just get the crop and they put it in bins and then they take it to the elevator. No, you have to buy, trade. I mean, there's a lot more to it than what meets the eye.
Sure. You end up wearing many hats. You're the financier, you're the market trader, you're the guy that drives the tractor maybe once every now and then if you get a chance. And
I mean, I don't anymore. I'll be the first to admit I got two little dudes that are like going to be the sixth generation on this farm. My tractor time went from 0 this year. Like it just limited.
I followed you on some of your posts and I saw the boys, running the grain cart and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they love it. I mean, I always joke with my husband, I'm the wheel turner. Like you can put me in anything. Like I can drive any tractor, semi, like I'm good. But when stuff goes wrong or stuff breaks down, don't call me. Do not call me unless I can YouTube it. Then we're good.
So let's talk about your program a little bit here. I mean, so it includes virtual workouts. You do nutrition training that's tailored to the individual. Why in this space are you so passionate about agriculture and the farmers and ranchers?
Well, I always like to give a background, a little history about myself because a lot of people, if they haven't heard of me, they probably don't understand where my passion comes from. So earlier I mentioned I sold insurance and I absolutely loved it. Like I said, I didn't grow up in agriculture, but my market was rural America. And I sold supplemental insurance door to door. So I got to know that industry very well. And I grew up in a small town in Alliance, Nebraska. and it was railroad or agriculture. That's where you fell in that community. And so I've always been around ag. Like, I mean, I didn't really understand it until I was a part of the industry. And then my love for it became very prevalent over being married to a farmer, and being immersed into it. But I loved selling insurance, door to door in rural America. It was my jam. Like, I loved rolling up to farmers in muck boots and being like, "Hey, I have supplemental insurance. Let's sit down. Let's talk." And I loved doing that. But in 2020, it kind of did a big pivot moment for me. We recently, in 2020, just built a house, our forever home. Me and my husband saved up. We put our heart and soul into this home, and we were living in it for about 4 years. And the day before the national pandemic, our house burned down. We lost everything. It went from the garage into the house, and we still don't know what started the fire. We have guests. Of course, insurance companies hired a bunch of fire marshals to come in and try to figure it out, and it was inconclusive. And so, in addition to going through the pandemic that we all went through for 2 weeks,
Exactly.
quotations there, we were homeless.
Sure.
Like, I had to borrow underwear from a neighbor. Like, I mean, we couldn't even go shopping. For us, I really struggled mentally in 2020. I hit my absolute low. And what really saved me is I've always been very physically active. I've been the girl that's done every sport you named it, and very competitive personality. And one of the things that I couldn't get was my gym was in our home. So when we lost our home, I had no equipment because everybody was buying everything, it was the end of the world. So my husband knew that that was my saving grace. And so he would bring me tires, and he'd bring me these random equipment off of the farm to use as weight. And I started posting about it, and I was putting workouts together. And people started noticing, and they're like, "Well, what are you doing? Whose program are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm doing my own." And so I did a couple free challenges just for the heck of it. I threw them together, and I was like, "You know what? Let's make it free. You guys can do this with me." And I remember one of the pivoting moments for me was in May of 2020. I did this planking contest. And it was just planking. And we know the benefits of planking. It's a full body workout. You're working your abdominals, your triceps, your back, your muscle, every muscle in your body. You're realigning, you're helping your bloodstream. Like, I mean, planking, that simple movement, everybody can do. I did this planking challenge, and next thing you know, I had like 800 farmers across the world. I mean, we had people in Australia join us, UK, Canada, joining this planking contest, and I did a free gift at the end. And it was really cool to see that commodity, that bringing our agriculture together in a time where there was so many unknowns. And it really opened my eye to like the mental health issue that's going on, and not just in the world, but mainly in agriculture. Like, there's so many statistics out there. And I'm not the type of person that's going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to throw all these statistics in your face." Like, we all know they're there. We know that 40% of individuals in agriculture, like, we're the highest in suicidal rates. I mean, it's scary. And when I was battling my own mental health in 2020, like, I'll be the first to tell you, I wasn't going to call a 1-800 number.
Sure.
That was the option that was available. It was like, let's call this 1-800 number, talk to a complete stranger, and talk about your feelings. Great. That's a Band-Aid approach to me. I wasn't at that point. Like, I wasn't suicidal. I'm not going to say that, but I was definitely at my lowest. I mean, I've got on social media and cried through a story. I was raw. I shared everything. And so as we were going through 2020, I was like, there's not a fitness program that's geared to those in agriculture. The fitness space is very prevalent on social media. Like, you see a ton of diet culture in social media, but nobody's teaching the science and why behind things. It's like you join a program and you're like, "I know I'm supposed to eat this, but why?
Sure.
What is this doing? Why is, doing deadlifts beneficial? Like, what does it do to my body?" And that really started to light the fire for me, because through my own transformation, I was really able to impact my mental health in that process. And I decided to go get certified. And so I'm actually adding 5 new certifications to my title here very shortly. But I am certified as a personal trainer, nutrition coach, and mental health coach. I decided, you know what, I'm going to go for it. So the whole premises of farm fit training is, and this is truly our mission statement, is we give those in agriculture space tools and strategies to lose fat, build muscle, improve their mental health, also while creating a sustainable lifestyle. And that's really what we're about. We're not a band-aid approach.
Sure.
We're going to give you tools and strategies and systems to help you long term, because with anything in life, it's all about consistency. It's about showing up for yourself. And, physical health and mental health shouldn't be looked at separate. It should be looked at as one identity. And it truly is, because you can't work on your physical transformation without impacting your mental transformation. And if you truly want to impact your mental transformation, guess what? You need to work on your physical transformation. And so it all correlates into one thing. And I really wanted to bring that to the agriculture space, because this industry showed up for us. Like when we lost our home, we had a guy start a GoFundMe page on Twitter. A lot of people don't understand. Yeah, we had insurance when we lost our home, but a lot of that didn't kick in for 6 months, and we're in a pandemic. So it was longer. Like we didn't get a lot of that money until 9 months after the fact our house burned down. And we're still trying to figure out, we're still homeless. We're still trying to figure out that transition. And so there's people like that in agriculture that stepped up. I mean, we had people we never even met send tractor toys to our boys.
Sure.
And just show up for us. And it really deepened my love for agriculture, because it's like these people we've never met are showing up and being there for us. And I want to be there for them. I want to give them a new ideal and a space where we can not only impact that mental health, but we're going to do it through a physical transformation. And that's a new concept that is not in ag. Because a lot of people in agriculture are like, oh, I get enough workout, running between the tractors. But you have to think about it. Ag has progressed in itself as well. Like a lot of old practices are now replaced with new technology. So for example, in our tractor, you can do auto steer, like click of the button, and you don't have to do anything. You just sit there.
Yeah. We spend more time just sitting than we do actually working.
Yeah, but that's the improvement with the industry. The industry is always improving our practices and always improving our technology and how we go about being stewardess of the land. And so, with that, a lot of manual labor has been replaced with technology, which is great. And that means that we're a vast and we're growing industry and we're always improving our practices. But at the same time, the health side of things hasn't. And that's really where farm fit training comes into play, is we wanted to bring that back and show, hey, I can humble you in 15 to 25 minutes, and then you can get on with your day. And that effect from that workout, for that 25-minute workout, you're going to have 4 to 5 hours after that workout where your body is still building muscle, still shredding fat. You're still seeing benefits. And then we couple that with a proper nutrition where it's not part of diet culture. Like we're going to teach you how to fuel your body with everyday foods. Like I'm not saying you can't have meat and potatoes. Like that's how my husband grew up. You can still enjoy those things. And trust me, he eats everything I eat. But let me educate you on the importance of high protein. Let's educate you on the importance of complex carbohydrates, healthy fats. Let's teach you a system where you can take your everyday nutrition and fuel your body to function at its ultimate best. And that's where that ideal and that methodology comes into play. And with that, it's just like it really exploded. It shows that there's a massive need for something like what we're offering to individuals. And it's not just your band-aid approach. Like I've countless people that have been with me from day one, still in the tribe, still showing up, still seeing progress, still crushing it. And again, they're doing it in 15 to 25 minutes.
Sure. That I think is one of the biggest challenges, is the time factor. Like how do we as farmers and ranchers, and I'll use this for instance, like in West Texas, when it's time to spray and I go look at what the wind's going to be for the next day at 6 a.m., if I can be out there spraying, I need to be rolling. But that makes it tough because I need to get up at 4 to go do my workout. And then I ran till midnight the night before. Do you have any kind of secret sauce for that?
I do. Well, and that's the thing, like the biggest thing when working on a fitness journey is we don't have a lot of time. Plain simple. I'm a busy mom. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't just run my fitness business. I'm very so much involved in the farming and with my husband. Like I can't tell you, there's times where I've had to run 3 hours just for a tractor part. and then get back to the farm and help my husband unload it so that he can get it on the combine so they can get in the field. I've been there. I totally get it. That's one of the things that we've addressed it in farm fit training is these workouts are minimum equipment and they're quick, effective killers. And one of the things you and I were joking about is like, I have countless clients that are like, I hate you. Like that workout kicked my butt. Who are you? But that's the point is like, you don't need to work out 45 minutes to an hour. For one, I don't have that time. And you can get an effective workout if the methodology is behind it. And again, that's something that we educate on the science and why behind it. Like eventually, my goal for every single client is they're going to be able to do this on their own. I understand I can't keep every single client forever. But that's truly our mission is they get in, they understand, they start to rock it. And then all of a sudden they become successful, that they're confident enough to keep going on their own. Mm-hmm. And that's truly, it goes back to the program and the methodology behind everything is like, I'm given the secret sauce right out from the gate. There's nothing that we hide from you or not educate you on or not teach you about or not dive into the science behind it, because there's countless things that a lot of times where people join programs and they're like, well, why am I eating this way? Why am I focusing on protein? Like, why is my split this way? Like, teach me more about macronutrients. It's a big word, and they're like, I want to understand this. I want to know what I'm doing. And that's really where we've taken it to that next step and really educate behind the science of it all, where it's like, okay, if you were in our program, Jonathan, and someone's like, well, what's macronutrients? You could literally be like, well, it's macro. The word macro means large, and I'm focusing on the nutrition values of foods in large amounts, which are protein, carbs, and fats. Mm-hmm. So that my body can function at its ultimate best. Well, what type of split are you doing? Well, it's unique. Again, it's part of the tailoring of the program is everybody's body is unique and the demands and what it needs to be fuel is all unique. Mm-hmm. And so that's where we educate that science and why behind what you are doing and really educate like, hey, you're doing a workout and I see your BPM is 134. It's time to lift heavier weights. Like, let's bump that up, or let's educate you on what your BPM, your beats per minute should be when you work out, and that science behind it. Because like a lot of times, I can't tell you, before I started my fitness journey, I actually started really heavily into fitness back in 2017. Mm-hmm. And I joined this CrossFit program, which we all know CrossFit,
sure, absolutely.
Itself. And I joined this CrossFit program because I was that overweight mom that had 2 babies, both C-section, just uncomfortable in my own skin, very insecure in my own identity. And when I joined this program, I mean, I was humbled right out the gate, but I didn't understand what I was doing. It was like, sure, okay, I know if I do this, I'll get these results, but why, like, where's the motivation keep coming from? Like, yeah, I'm a very motivated person, but sometimes we lose motivation. Motivation is exciting in the beginning, but it only carries us so far into our journey and into what we're doing. And so that's where the science and everything come into play, where it's like, okay, now that I'm through that motivational hump lasts about 66 days. It's not 21, sure, it's 66. Once you get through that, it's like, okay, why am I still showing up? Like, why am I still showing up for myself? Like, what am I trying to accomplish? And that's where really we step in and we're like, okay, let's look at it as the mental health coaching. Like, let's get into that. Let's create a why statement. And I love doing that with clients. Why statements are very deep, darkest secrets about ourselves and what we want to accomplish. And it can be very superficial as well. Hey, I want to be that mom when I turn 40 and have a 6-pack. Yeah, sure, totally. But at the same time, I want to be that mom where I get texts from my husband saying, I need your muscles. That's more empowering to me because then it shows that I'm an asset on the farm. It's cool where my boys are little sounding boards, not just with our farming operation. They are about fitness as well. They'll go to their aunt and uncle's house and they'll be like, hey, how much protein does this have in it? I need protein.
On that aspect there with the macros, like tracking that. I know in my fitness journey, everybody thought I was weird when I was calculating everything up and trying to track and I think for all of us, we're looking for results and we don't know how. And I mean, that's where you come in with your program, trying to see where these protein requirements and where these farmers, like what they're eating on a day-to-day basis. More than likely, have you noticed, even though they think they're meat and potatoes guys,
they think they're consuming enough protein and they're not. No, it's very eye-opening. Even ranchers, we have a tons of ranchers in the program, and they're like, I consume enough protein every day. And that's the thing, is like in a fitness journey, it's you can't expect results if you don't track it. You have to give yourself a history. And part of tracking nutrition is it's an eye-opening in itself. And you realize, hey, I'm actually under eating on protein. I'm not getting enough complex carbohydrates in my diet. And I'm really focusing on the wrong type of healthy fat, where I'm eating more trans fat and saturated fat, not unsaturated fat. So it's part of the education. But back to your macros, is we've simplified the system. So I'll give you a secret sauce. Here's my secret sauce.
All right.
So prior to macronutrients, like I dabbled into it in 2017, like I told you earlier.
Mhm.
I started my fitness journey with that CrossFit gal. And it was overwhelming. I was supposed to eat 130 grams of protein in a day. And like, I don't even know how many carbohydrates and stuff. And I'm like, how the heck do you break that out during the course of the day? Like, am I supposed to have like 40 grams on breakfast, 40 grams at lunch? How am I supposed to split this? I failed.
Sure.
Because it's like I didn't know the balance. And I'm like, I know you need to balance it through the course of the day, but what does that look like? I created a system. So my mentor at the time, she's been in the fitness space for 10 years. I created this system and she was like, I've never seen somebody teach macros this way. Are you sure it's going to work? And I'm like, it makes sense to me. So I'm going to teach it this way.
Sure.
Oh, it's the game changer. So how you do macros is you get your overall macros and there's percentages. So let's say you're on muscle gaining macros, which are 40, 30, 30 split. So 40% is protein, 30% is carbohydrates, and 30% is fat. Okay. Remember, these are tailored to you. What you do is when you build out your breakfast, you want to make sure that your overall percentage is those splits. So I want to make sure my breakfast has 40% protein, 30% carbs, 30% fats. And calorie wise, it needs to be anywhere from 250 to 400 calories. If you do that, you will hit your overall macros at the end of the day in grams by plus or minus 10 grams.
I've
Nobody
always
teaches
felt like
it
that's
this
the
way.
complex part. Like
Yeah,
when I follow the macros, like I could always tell a difference. I could tell I felt better. I felt like I was where I
feeling your
needed to
body
be.
through the day. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, it was probably one of the hardest things, lifting, running, biking, anything that I did. That was kind of the easy part once I got that formed as a routine. But it goes back to the nutrition. I mean, what percentage do you feel like in this health and wellness journey, where does nutrition rate in that?
A lot of fitness coaches out there will say nutrition's 80% of a program. And it is a big chunk of the program. Like you can't
Sure.
expect to get muscle definition if you're not hitting nutrition, plain and simple. Like you could be an avid runner and run 4 miles a day. Great for you. But as soon as you stop running, your body's not burning calories anymore.
Yep.
First and foremost, let's debunk that myth. Secondly, if you're strength training, great. Let's say you strength train, your body's still burning calories 4 to 5 hours afterwards. So obviously, strength training is more beneficial long term. Now, with that being said, yes, you do need to incorporate some kind of carbohydrates, cardiovascular endurance at least, 2 to 3 times a week in addition to that. But again, it's just busting through a lot of those myths out there on social media. Like a lot of people think I need to spend all these hours doing this cardio and my body's not changing. Well, it's because you're not doing it correctly, and there's a lot of methodology how nutrition ties into that, like the timing of nutrition. And that is something that we educate. That's part of the education process that we go through. As soon as you're done lifting, you should be taking in a lean source of protein and a complex carbohydrate. A lot of people don't. They just take protein, protein powder. But it's like, no, 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 you need to couple that with a complex carbohydrate, because you got to think of it this way. Your protein is what helps you grow and build muscle, which is what we all want. Like ladies need to pay attention to this, because ladies think they're going to look like a bodybuilder and they're not. Pick up the heavy weight.
Yeah.
You have to create these tears in your muscle fiber. And I just did a post about this on Twitter, if you want to go check it out, about fat loss and muscle gaining. But your muscle fibers rip when you work out, especially when you lift heavier weight. And that's what we want. Now, if you don't take in a lean source of protein and a complex carbohydrate after you work out, your muscles can't really repair themselves and get leaner, stronger, tighter. And that's what we want. And so carbohydrates are like giving your vehicle gas. Okay. If you don't give it the right gas, it's going to run sluggish. It's going to run crappy. It's not going to run really well. But if you give it the complex carbohydrate, like the healthy carbs, your car is going to run at its top performance. You're going to be able to push the pedal and it's going to take off and zoom. And so you need to replenish your carbohydrates as well after you work out because you depleted it during your workout. And so in actionality, you need to be taking a lean source of protein and carbs post workout, which a lot of people don't do, but it's part of the educational process. And so we really break that down where it's like, okay, proteins, I want you guys to think of this way. Proteins like your powerhouse. It's in every cell in our body. Every single cell is made up of protein. It helps with muscle growth, development, you name it. It's in every single cell. Now, carbohydrates are your gas in your vehicle. It's how to keep the motor running, keep it smooth, keep it moving towards the right direction. And then your fats play a key role because not only do they store energy, but it also cushions your organs and helps with cell membrane integrity as well. So you need to be taking in healthy fats, which is unsaturated fats as well. And so they all work together. And that's where women start to notice complexion. Like some ladies come into the program and they've always had skin issues, zits, or I've had women come through the program that have Hashimoto's disease, fibromyalgia, you name it. And it's because their hormones are so out of whack because they're not getting in the proper nutrition. And so back to your question, I still believe nutrition plays a huge component in that, is that 80%, because if you're not fueling your body, all that work that you're doing in the gym, all that work you're doing on the sidelines is not going to transpire because it comes back to that nutrition. And you're actually going to hinder the process because our metabolism doesn't stop running. It runs 24/7, even while we sleep, and also your metabolism is not hereditary. Like,
Sure.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit, like, my mom is not in shape, like, by any means. But again, your metabolism is unique to your body, and you can rev that up just by focusing on proper techniques and proper weight training. Again, you don't need to do an insane amount of cardio to see progress. And then coupling that with nutrition, it's really a game changer process. And it's something that anybody in ag can do because we've really broken it down to like layman terms, where you go in this program on day one and you come out of it. And, we have 2 phases in my one-on-one coaching. Like, let's say you went through both phases. You come out of it in week 12 and you're solid. Your foundation is set. Now let's build that mansion. Let's make it even a more impact. Let's build up those walls to where you become this unstoppable force. And I actually got asked to a speaking event that I'm doing in January. That's one of the things they want me to talk about is physical and mental health. And they were asking me some key points that I want to go over. And one of the things I told them is that I really want to cover mental health in a different spin. Again, not talk about the 1-800 number, not talk about that band approach. Let's talk about what our bodies are capable of doing. We're amazing mechanisms. And it's a really cool process once you start to dive into that physical transformation and then just bring it all together. And they're like, oh, we love that. Yes, that's what we want you to talk about.
I think that is huge because I know for me, when I went down this journey, a year and a half ago, establishing, that morning routine of working out, like I feel sharper to be able to make decisions for the business. I mean, by 8:30 in the morning, I've done more, and a lot of my team, they're kind of like, "Oh wow, when do you sleep?" And I think, well, and I think a lot of times you can just purge yourself of all the negativity that's impacting your life. So I think it's huge. I think these components do go hand in hand, and I applaud you.
I love it. I'm so honored and blessed. Like, seriously, I wouldn't be on this path. One of the things that my husband and I talk about is if we didn't lose our home in 2020, I would still be selling insurance. I wouldn't be on this journey without God, hands down. He's in every aspect of my business, even my team. So my team, I actually consist of 3 gals, and they're all in ag. I was telling you earlier, everybody in my team is ag. So my operations manager actually grew up on a dairy farm in Texas. And then my, I call her my FFT manager, Tracy Johnson. She and her husband actually farm in Illinois. And then I have Jamie Pearson. She's an elite coach with us. She's 52 and fabulous. And she's lost 110 pounds prior to my program.
Awesome.
She joined my program for more the science and why behind nutrition. Same thing, macronutrients. She wanted to understand it. She's in Texas, and they have a huge farming operation down there. And then my other coach that we recently hired this year, Anna Marie, she is actually out of Ohio, and she does crop insurance. My whole staff is all tied to ag. So we understand this industry inside and out because we live, eat, and breathe it. We're busy, we're running, we're, not only doing the farm wife role, like we drive tractors. We're very so much a part of the farming operation. Like Jamie actually does the book for her whole husband's operation. We understand agriculture so much. And that's really where Farm Fit training is different than anything out there in the market. I wanted it to be different. I didn't want it to be just like this normal fitness program. I wanted it to be something where individuals come into it and they find that they can get their confidence back. They can find that they can get, comfortable in their own skin. But when you're confident in yourself, you believe in your abilities and what you bring to the table. And that is so needed in the world right now. You see it on social media. Like there's those keyboard warriors that inject their opinions on other people. And if they were truly confident in themselves, they wouldn't be like that.
Absolutely.
They would understand, hey, everybody has their own opinion and different side of view of things. That's great. My opinion is not going to change your opinion either. There's no point in arguing on social media. We need more coming together and being confident and believing in our own abilities. But it also helps with business too. Like I'm sure you've noticed a huge change in your business and your operation just by taking care of yourself.
Like you said, you get that confidence and you're able to make those decisions. And it leads into big decisions, little decisions. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're tackling that day, like, you can do it and you're pushing yourself. And the other thing I wanted to bring up too, you could just kind of alluded to it, but with your program, what I think is really unique is that it is an ag-based program. Feels like a good time for us to hear from our sponsors who are making this possible for us to have this podcast. The Empire Ag Elite Program is an annual membership for farmers, ranchers, and agribusiness owners who are ready to up-level all aspects of the whole of an operation by taking a deep dive into their books, their marketing strategy, in addition to peeling back the layers of their physical, mental, and spiritual health. To learn more, visit youragempire.com. All right, we're back with Amanda Nigg. So we've been discussing your program and just how neat it is that it's tailored to ag. And I think this is such a needed venue because the fitness space is covered with folks that do not understand and are not realistic in their expectations. And I think in what we've kind of talked about, that's huge with what you have kind of put together. You are one of us, and so you understand those struggles. You see it with your husband day to day. Like, do you offer in your program, from a nutrition standpoint, a meal plan that's, friendly towards a farmer that's going to spend time in a tractor or truck or combine, whatever that is?
We actually don't. So I'm glad you brought that up. I don't believe in meal plans because here's the deal with meal plans is you get a meal plan, a cookie cutter meal plan. Let's be honest, they probably used it a million times. And it's like, oh, chicken and rice. Well, what if you don't like chicken and rice? Let's be honest. And next thing you know, you're eating that for 6 weeks. And it's like, okay, I can see progress when I stick to your meal plan. But as soon as I go off it, I don't know what I'm doing.
Sure.
And so we don't do meal plans for that reason. Yes, I can do a meal plan. Hands down, I can whip up a meal plan in 2 seconds. But meal plans they're kind of like a bottleneck where you can see progress and you can do amazing things following that strict meal plan. But as soon as you get off it, where's the education? And
Sure.
so we more educate the science and why. So like, for example, Jonathan, if you joined the program, especially one-on-one coaching, we would come up with your custom macros. We'd send you a customized nutrition plan. We go into the science behind it. We dive into it. we wouldn't tell you what to eat. We would, that first week, we would have you enter in everything you normally eat.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you start to go through the program, we'll give you suggestions and strategies. Like, let's say you're making spaghetti one night. You make it normally like you do, noodles, sauce, meat, whatever. And we notice that the type of noodles you used. Well, then we can be like, hey, switch that to whole wheat noodles or switch that to, bean-based noodles. Now, not only are you impacting your protein in that meal, but we're also getting fiber, which fiber is something that we need. It doesn't get broken down in our digestive system. It helps keep us regular. And so it goes into that science and education. And so you're eating your everyday foods. We're educating you on a system and teaching you the strategies to make it even better. Now, with that being said, yes, I have a library of over 1,000 macro-friendly meals you can make for your whole family. And we're talking kid-friendly, farmer-approved, hearty meals, roast beef sandwiches, sliders, pastas, you name it. I have recipes. Don't worry about that. But you will have access to all those recipes. And then we teach you, hey, make the recipe exactly like it is. Now, how we can fit it in your macros is let's add, let's say you're making tacos one night. I have like an enchilada recipe. Now, for you, you need more fat. So let's add sour cream on top of your enchiladas or guacamole. And so now it becomes this more universal approach where you're eating everyday foods. You're not cutting anything out. Like if you want alcohol, let me teach you how to incorporate that. Let me educate you on how to do that. And so we're more of the education instead of like giving you a strict meal plan. Let's teach you a system. Let's give you strategies. And that's really where it becomes part of your life, in your everyday life, where you're not taking away foods, because like our society, we're very emotionally attached to food, nutrition. We are. If you go to a family event, even Thanksgiving coming up around the corner, what is it around? Food. Christmas, what is it around? Food. New Year's, what is it around? Alcohol, food. So like gatherings are very around food, and as a society we're very emotionally attached to food, even if we like to admit it or not. So instead of like being like you can't eat these things, let me educate the science. Let me teach you what proper nutrition is. Let's take your nutrition, what you're eating, your everyday foods. Let me teach you how subtle tweaks can have a profound impact on your nutrition. And that's where that longevity effect comes into play. Instead of this being that part of diet culture or quick fix, it's more of a sustainable system. It's more fueling your body. And there's going to be recipes you love, that you're going to be like, oh, I'm bookmarking that. Like, I love that thing, And so then, for example, when I cook for Harvest, every single guy that comes and helps us loves it because they're like, we don't need to know like how healthy this is for us. We just want to know about the taste. And it's all been approved. Like they love my cooking and it's exactly what I'm eating. With meal plans, it's so restrictive where you're hitting that nutrition, but what's the rest of the family going to eat?
Exactly.
So
I think
instead of doing
that's one of the hardest battles is for.
and that's why people fail. Hands down, that's why people fail. Is it's because now all of a sudden you're making two separate meals. Can you keep that up for long term? No, you cannot. And so that's where we do a whole different approach to nutrition where it's like, okay, instead of telling you you're making one meal for yourself, we're making one meal that's going to work for everyone, that kids are going to love, your family's going to love. I'm going to teach you how you can add a side, you can add a topping, and it's going to fit your nutrition, but you're all still eating the same food.
Sure. I think that's huge. And
yeah,
and you know how farmers are. I mean, it's a sandwich, it's chips, it's a cookie, it's whatever we're drinking. And like we've got it in the lunchbox. We may have ate it by 10:30 in the morning. And then now we're
nine. Let's be honest. Come on.
yeah. All right. 9 o'clock. We've smoked through everything we have in there. So now we're rummaging around in the truck to see what else we got. And we finish our day. And really from a health standpoint, like that's the way many of us live 20, 30 years of our working life as a farmer. That's what we eat. So like trying to break out of that. And I know my wife, she bought me it's almost like a crock pot or a heater that I can like carry with me. So if we have like real food, I can take it with me and then heat it up. And by noon, it's kind of kept me being a little bit more honest with myself on what I should eat. And that's helped.
We educate on that. I mean, we just came out of Harvest and we had over 200 people go through Harvest with us. The thing is, we teach you all of that. We teach you high protein grabs that you can grab on the go. We teach you how, I mean, I have a cooler that you can buy off of my Amazon page that is actually a little plug-in cooler, like not cooler, but a heater where you can take meals with you. We have tons of grab sandwich meals that you can make on the go that are super healthy for you that you can pack with you in the tractor. Not only snacks options, like we have all of that we make available for every single client. And so they again decide maybe you don't like beef sticks. We can help you with different options to help you where you can make it ahead of time and take it with you in the tractor. Our pack healthier drink options or grab stuff on the go. Like I did a post not too long ago of high protein snacks to grab when you travel and stuff like that. And again, we're more about the lifestyle approach, like the sustainable lifestyle approach. We have tons of stuff always available. Like our one-on-one coaching is, I'll be the first to tell you, it's the highly sought after programming. We are limited in that just because we only can accept a certain number of clients per coach because we dive into your profile every single day. It's a super hands-on program. We're your ninjas in your back pocket all the time. But yesterday, we actually just launched our first ever digital product that you can purchase, and it comes with these two amazing ebooks, Macro 101 and then Cardio Guide. And that's available for Black Friday. We have a special discounted price, but that will always be available for purchase off my website. And so we're starting to transition into more digital products as well. And again, we're still about the science, the mental health is all built in there. So it is still different anything in the market, but it's just, we're more about that longevity and really that education component. Like I can't tell you how many times, Jonathan, that I've had actual men join my program and they went through the whole one-on-one coaching and then their wife applied for the next round. Like, I've had so many times that happen. And it's really cool. And then the vice versa, where the wife joins and then the man ends up joining the next round. And we also train couples.
I've actually had someone on social media come across my feed, and they were talking about their fitness journey, and I, listened to their whole story and go through that, and I noticed on the bottom they think they're coach, and it was you.
Oh, I love that. I wish you would have known who it was.
I can't remember the name now, but it was one of those you had responded on there, and it was just curious because this was the first person that I've seen, vocally in person, talking about, their goal or the objective that they were trying to get. What is the biggest weight loss or goal that was attained or reached with any of your members?
We don't focus on weight. I'll myth about that one.
Okay.
We actually don't. We do something unique in my program because weight loss, it doesn't tell you that you're putting on muscle. It doesn't tell you you're shredding fat. Like a pound of fat and a pound of muscle weigh the exact same, but how it densifies on our body is a lot different. Like how much space it takes on our body. And so I don't educate on weight loss because I hate it. It doesn't tell you the amount of work you are putting in. So we actually do something in my program where we focus on progress photos. We focus on measurements. We focus on something called benchmarks. And that's a terminology from CrossFit days, where it's a physical test on repeat. And we more focus on those or non-scalable wins. So like pant size, jeans, you're tighter on your belt. Now, with all that being said, I did have a guy. He's one of my original OGs. He actually works in the agriculture space. He sells molasses, and he joined my program and he weighed 400 pounds. When he first started, I mean, there's a lot of movements he couldn't do. Plain and simple. Like he couldn't do a deadlift properly. There was a lot of stuff that we went through. And of course, again, it's tailored in the one-on-one coaching. And he's been with us for 2.5 years and he's lost over 150 pounds. But where the real transformation comes to play is his pictures, his measurements, mind-blowing. Like the weight, great, whatever. But he's in 7 size smaller in jeans. He's put on muscle. You can see muscle definition in him. He's starting to get abs. And this guy's like upper 60s, mid 60s, upper 60s. His energy's up. his stamina's up, his shirts, he was used to wear like a 3 extra large and now he's down to an extra large. Those are the wins that we focus on in farm fit training. It's not really a weighted goal. I mean, don't get me wrong, 150 pounds, everybody would be like, I want to lose that. Like, that's great. But
Absolutely.
his non-scalable wins are more impressive because it shows that he's not only shred fat, he's put on muscle. It shows that he's put in the hard work. The other day I read a post on Twitter and this guy goes, what is the first thing you notice about people when they walk through the door? And the first thing I notice is how physically fit they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then following that is if somebody walks in and they're in shape and I can see muscle definition, I instantly, not even knowing that person or talking to them, I have respect.
Yep.
Instant respect because I know how hard it is because it's not something that you can just you can buy. You can't buy muscle. You can't buy showing up and going to the gym. You can't buy that. Like that's work. That's putting in the work. That's putting in the time, the energy, consistency, and it goes kind of back to that saying, like something that is easy is never great, but something that is difficult and earn is always great or something like that. I totally slaughtered that saying, but it shows that they put in that consistency and that work ethic. Again, not even talking to them, I have instant respect.
And knowing that that's not something that's achievable in 6 months. That's a
No,
long-term
yeah,
process. I think that, like you said, and I do agree with you on like weight goal gains because my workout partner, he's lost 70 pounds and I've only lost 5 or 6. You can tell a difference. People start to notice whenever your body changes and you can see it. It wasn't just a number. So I think for our listeners, I think one of the biggest things that they need to take away is that this is a lifestyle journey. This is something that's going to take time, and it's
yeah,
not just a quick fix. It won't be 2 or 3
yeah.
months.
And like, don't focus on a weight goal because that's not going to do anything for you. Like, that doesn't tell the story. That doesn't
Mhm.
tell the hard work that you're putting in. And I don't know that guy that lost 70 pounds. Kudos to him. But at the same time, he could be a scrawny person. You know,
Oh yeah,
you can easily lose fat, but also lose muscle and and lose a ton of weight. But again, where the real transformation is like a pound of muscle, pound of fat weigh the same. Think about that, like
sure.
especially in a weight training program, which is what we are. We're a resistant training program. I've always been comfortable. Like, I mean, at my heaviest, I probably have weighed 150,
Mhm.
and then when I was pregnant with both my boys, and I'm 5'1". So 150 pounds is a lot of weight. I think at the end of both my pregnancies, is about 160. And my comfortable weight was 130. That's my comfortable target weight. I still weigh the same from 2017 to now, but my muscle definition and my body fat percentage is a heck of a lot different from where I was 6 years ago to now.
Sure.
And my
Absolutely.
weight hasn't changed. Like I'm anywhere from between 125 to 130. I'm
Hmm.
constantly right there. But like again, I'm wearing a lot smaller size of jeans. I'm wearing a
Hmm.
lot smaller size of shirts. I have pipes on me. Like I have muscle definition. Again, it just goes back to that. Don't get fixated on that number because that doesn't tell the story. What tells the story is looking at those non-scalable wins and focusing on, your pant size, your progress photos, your measurements, benchmark days. If your program doesn't have that, I highly recommend finding a program that has that because those are super exciting when you get across those. Those are areas where you can really enjoy that process and look forward to and really truly celebrate those, especially in a fitness journey.
So, Amanda, farming and ranching, it often involves a close knit community. And we talked a lot earlier about community and how we all band together and come together. How does community come into play whenever we're looking at our health and fitness journey and nutrition goals? Is there anything out there, or how could that be beneficial during this process?
Community is huge. Actually, yes, there's something out there. It's called us. We have a community. So we have a master group chat that has every single client in it. So when you join Farm Fit Training, yes, it's a journey for yourself. Like you're starting your fitness journey for yourself. You're going after your goals, but there's very so much a community aspect built into it as well. Because in the master group chat, I mean, I have my farmers talking about farming, crops, where they're at in the field. I have women in there sharing recipes, talking about nutrition, talking about their wins. I mean, we have this master community chat where they can connect with like-minded individuals across the world. We're international. We have a ton of people in Canada, in the United States. We actually recently had a lot of people apply from Australia and UK, which are not in the program. We haven't accepted them yet because, again, back to my new certifications that are coming up here soon. I will be certified by the ICF, which is the International Coach Federation. And then I can take those international clients on like that. But, community is a big part of it because you're working on a journey for yourself, but it doesn't have to be about yourself. Like, I'll use me as an example. I live in a small rural community in South Dakota, tucked up in the middle of nowhere. And I actually don't have a lot of community support locally.
Sure.
The whole reason I launched my business online is because I want to find those people that want to make a difference. I want to build this community where it is international. And even if you don't have it locally, it just shows like, hey, community is a huge part of it. And if you're anyone out there listening to this is like me, you might not have it locally, but you can definitely find it online. You can definitely find a like-minded community and plug into that. And that will make a world of a difference, not only for your physical health, but also your mental health, connecting with people that are uplifting each other, motivating each other.
That's what we try to strive to do also. We can't grow if we're not doing it together. We're in such an isolated industry. It takes that group, that family, that community to help us build.
And COVID highlighted that for the world.
Absolutely.
COVID didn't really change what we do in our industry. Not really much. I mean,
not a whole lot at all.
No, but some industries really suffered because they have to have that human connection and that direct connection. So it really opened the doors to where now, just thinking back, I'm going to date myself, is, episodes of the Jensens when they were doing those Zoom calls and we all laughed about them. Some of the things that we joked about when growing up, it actually happened and it came out, and I'm not going to say everything out of COVID was a complete bust. Like, I'll be the first to admit I love online grocery shopping because then I get exactly what I need. And I can plan my meals for the week. I know I'm not buying a bunch of random ingredients because like the biggest problem with the grocery stores is how they market foods. And I did a huge post about this, is food marketing. They dump billions and billions of dollars into it. And like sometimes you'll read something that'll say fat free or no added sugar or, high in fiber, high in protein. And then when you look at the nutrition label, you're like, okay, this is not healthy for you at all. But again, it goes back to they dump billions into like marketing foods or GMO free. That's another one.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's educate. Let's break that up. Like, let's actually educate people on really what you're eating. And that's what we do. I love myth busting. I love ruffling feathers on social media and being like, okay, let's really talk about this. Like, let's break it down. And one of my favorite posts was that myth busting, the fat-free GMO and all that.
Sure.
That actually went viral on Twitter. But, again, it's backing up with science. You can't argue with me because I back everything up, anything we do with science, proven.
I agree. To our listeners, I want to encourage you to check out Farm Fitness with Amanda Nigg. She is such a resource, such an asset to this industry, and I highly encourage you to explore this community that she's developed and built. Thank you all for joining us on Your Ag Empire. We know time is the hottest commodity of all, and we're honored that you chose to spend yours with us here today. Where can our listeners keep up with you or visit? Is there a link, something you want to drop?
Yeah. Well, I have a website. It's www.farmfit, and then it's MOMMA.com, farmfitmama.com. We post on that. I have a newsletter list. I highly encourage everybody. I call it my VIP list. So anything that we drop, they get first dibs, and we do a lot of mental health coaching in those. They can definitely check us out on my website. I am on every social media except Snapchat. If they look me up, Farm Fit Mama on Instagram, Facebook, or even Twitter, they can definitely find my platform. And then we do have a business page as well, and it's Farm Fit Training. So if they are interested in that, Farm Fit Training is on Instagram and TikTok as well. and Facebook.
And for you farmers out there, I want you to think about this. We have a lot of equipment that we value, their assets, but one of the biggest assets you have is this body that you have, the mind that you have, and you couldn't be who you are for your family, for your farm, for your community if it wasn't for that. So I encourage you, check this out, invest in yourself. That's it for today's Your Ag Empire podcast. You can find us across social media at Your Ag Empire. If you feel so inclined, give us a review wherever you're streaming and visit youragempire.com to visit our show notes. Be good or be good at it.